Hi guys, it's Simon from SA Tuning. I wanted to talk to you about, it's a subject that's quite risky, should we say. It's DPF Removal and Delete. Now, we advertise that we do DPF Removal and Delete, and we can do it for most vehicles. And people seem to be commenting saying, oh, it's illegal, it's illegal, it's illegal. Okay, the facts are this. It is illegal to drive a vehicle on the road, on the public road, that does not meet the emission standards that it originally left the factory with. Fact. To actually remove the DPF is not illegal. So, you know, you have diesel race cars, they don't have DPFs in them. Otherwise, they'd be all getting impounded and getting banned. So the facts are this. We actively advertise the fact that this is for off-road use only. If our customers decide to drive it on the road, it's purely down to them. They're aware of the situation. They're aware of everything that happens before they go ahead. They even sign a piece of paper to say that they're okay with that before we go ahead. And it's not just to protect us, it's so that we can inform everybody of what's happening. Now, DPFs, in principle, if you look at the figures, they're a good idea. However, when people have sold vehicles with DPFs in them, they're not necessarily explained what they do. People can't always adhere to the driving styles and the situations that they need to be in for a DPF to regenerate and have a good, happy, healthy life. We all live in the real world, and so we have to look at things in the real world. At the end of the day, if you cannot do 50 miles an hour plus for 20 minutes, 2-3 times a week, you can't do it. Now, if you say, for example, you have a single mum. She spent £4,000 on a car to get her children to and from school and then to go to work, which is only down the road. All right? So she's done £4,000 on a car, which is quite a lot of money for a single parent if they don't have a massive income. And then the DPF gets blocked. Now, they've got choices. So you can get it cleaned. Getting it cleaned is great. So you have TerraClean, you have other cleaning companies, and what they do is they scaremonger you and saying, oh yeah, it's definitely illegal, which it is, that's great. And they say, oh yeah, but we're here to help you and we can clean your DPF and it'll be fine. Well, in realism, that isn't necessarily the case. Some cars, you can clean them because they're not massively blocked and they'll be all right for a good long time. Other cars, you'll clean them, 2 weeks later, you go in exactly the same position. And some cars will go into limp mode so hard that it's actually dangerous to drive the vehicle on the road. So the other choice would be, oh, let's get a new DPF. So they go to the dealership and they say, oh, how much is a new DPF? And the dealership says, £1,800 plus VAT plus fitting. You think, well, that's 50% of the car, of the value of the car. You know, so you think, all right, well, have I got nearly £2,500? No, I haven't. So you think, well, okay, what's the other option? Oh, I can fit a pattern part, you know, something that isn't manufacturer standard. But the reason why they're cheaper, so they might cost £600-700. The reason why they're cheaper is because they don't have as much platinum in there, which is the valuable metal that causes the reactions inside, the DPF once it heats up. If there's not enough platinum, they block quicker and easier. So great, you could fit that 6, 7, 8, 9 months down the road, you're in exactly the same position. A DPF's blocked, and you've done £700. So what's the other option? And what do people normally do? They'll go for the easier, cheaper option. And the easier, cheaper option is to take the DPF off the car, remove the internals, put the DPF canister back on the car, and drive the car. Now, at the new MOT laws, it's the smoke limit that's been lowered for 2011 cars onwards. Okay, so anything before that, the smoke limit isn't affected, and anything after that, then the smoke limit is affected. However, if a car is healthy, irrespective of whether it has a DPF in it or not, it will still pass the smoke limit test. Unhealthy cars that have a DPF still in them will fail that test. So you imagine the amount of cars that are out there that are driving on the road with an engine management light on, or boost leaks, or an EGR fault, or something else like that, billowing out smoke that still have a DPF in. Well, that's just as unhealthy as a car that doesn't have a DPF in that's running well. You know, and if we look at the environment, how many planes are there that fly over the world? Just Google it. And the amount of stuff they kick out burning aviation fuel is immense. How many buses do you see on the road chugging out black smoke everywhere? We still burn fossil fuels to create our electricity that we all use. There are ways and means of saving the planet. For example, hydrogen power. You can go into a Honda dealership and buy a hydrogen power car right now. There are hydrogen power filling stations in London and Edinburgh, okay? So, you can buy this hydrogen power car and the only thing you're going to emit from the exhaust pipe is water. So it's hydrogen combined with oxygen that makes electricity. H2O is water, and that is all that comes out the tailpipe. Now, there are hydrogen power buses in London currently at the moment, and there are guys that I know that work on those buses, that repair them, and it's phenomenal. The fact is that nobody wants to put in the infrastructure to be able to use hydrogen power. It costs money to do that, and then all the massive Arab countries that supply oil to the world and other oil-bearing countries, well, do they want to put money into something that's going to cost them money? And they're going to lose money at the end of the day. However, that's much better for the environment. Nuclear fusion, for example, it is an awesome way. Yes, we've all seen Chernobyl, we've all seen things like that. How many massive nuclear accidents have there been since? There was one in Japan not too long ago, but that's a minimal risk into the amount of muck that we chuck out into the atmosphere every single day from everything apart from a healthy car without a DPF removed in it. Now, we're trying to make Euro 5, Euro 6 emissions, and you have AdBlue and you have all sorts of things. And these are all fantastic things, but they're not a long-term solution. The other thing that you have is how much money have people actually got to rectify these problems? Now, I'm not saying it's definitely the right thing to do, and I'm not saying it's absolutely okay and it should be perfect and things like that, but let's live in the real world. Do people have £2,500 to throw at a car that costs £4,000 or that's worth £4,000? They don't. And if you go to sell it, you're going to lose money because it's in limp mode because the DPF's blocked. So you're never going to get £4,000 for it. So we charge £449 at the start, £449 for DPF removal and delete, which is just a little bit more than cleaning it, a lot less than a genuine DPF, a lot less than an aftermarket DPF, and it's a permanent solution. Now, we advise our customers, we say it is for off-road use. If you drive it on the road, it is illegal, So we give everybody the opportunity to not do it. However, there is always going to be an option there. And if the car is healthy, it's not going to make it any more worse than driving it with the DPF in. So when a DPF regenerates, so it heats it up to sort of 800 degrees C, and it chugs stuff out the back, is all of those things that come out the back completely inert? Would you want to breathe that in? I don't think so. And the facts are that it's not completely inert. You know, it does still have particulates in it. It does still have CO2. It does still have carbon monoxide. And they are the facts. So guys, please, let's live in the real world and let's look at changing. I am a massive advocate for hydrogen powered cars. I think that's the best idea that we've had ever since the car had been invented. Why would you not have the most abundant element in the atmosphere, in the universe, have the most abundant element in the universe powering something that creates water for us to move around? What a system. So let's push for that. I'll still be able to tune those cars. I'll still be in a job. That's not a problem. But guys, DPF removal and delete. Yes, it is illegal to drive it on the road. Is it the worst option? No. Cheers.